everybody has their opinion and everybody's trying to like, no, you need to do this. Why did you do this? You know? And
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can see how it can get very difficult for some people wanting to like please everyone else, but I just feel like at some point internally that must not be comfortable to do. So I just chose like, you know what, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to ignore, you know, the haters or the negative people. I'm going to embrace all of the kind, supportive people and just keep it moving.
Exactly. That's amazing. Now, you guys do talk a little bit about your friendship in the Reasonably Shady podcast and how you guys kind of met and how you guys had a long friendship even before the show, because everybody feels like you two stick together and y'all got each other's back and everything like that. People actually, I've seen people say like, I wonder what would happen if they fall out. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, it's so funny when people are like criticize, you know, when I stick up for Giselle or vice versa. I'm so curious. I'm like, what kind of friendships do you all have? Like, isn't that what you're supposed to do for your friends? Like, yeah. And I'm sorry, if your friends don't ride hard for you, then you need new friends. Like, it's so weird to me. I'm like, we're literally very, very good friends. And when you have a friend that you're that close with and you feel like, you know, maybe people are, I don't know, like, I've never felt like I should not defend my friend, and vice versa. If she does something that I don't agree with, I'll tell her. So, you know, I don't know. It's just so weird to me. I'm like, some people need to find some better friends if they have a problem with our friendship and how I defend her or stick up for her or whatever. It's very strange to me.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen people making comments about how they believe that you are Giselle's puppet. What do you think about that? Because I'm sure you guys say things behind the scenes that we don't see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like I said, it's just weird. I'm like, what kind of friends do you have? It's not like I'm out, like, I don't even know what that means. Like, how am I her puppet just by defending her? Or if someone else is coming at her wrong, why can't I point that out to that person? Like, nah, you're actually, you know, you're coming a little sideways. Like, I don't understand it. So, and it's very weird because people conveniently forget the times when they have seen me call her out on stuff. Season 2, I was so upset with her for how she treated Charisse. I think it was like the first episode, and I called her out. I was so upset with her. What was it? At my housewarming party, I was upset with her. I called her out on that. So it's so weird. It's like people forget those times and they just focus on the times when I'm defending my friend. It's very strange.
Exactly. Speaking of those times when you're definitely calling her out or she's calling you out, let's talk about this last episode because so many things happen. And I know we talked to you guys before the whole season even premiered, and you told us about the new cast member Mia. You told us about this season was going to be very interesting, and so I definitely want to break down everything that happened, especially this last episode, because a lot of people are talking. So what do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about Mia, Quinn, or your situation when it comes to seasonal depression?
You go for it. Take it away.
Okay, so let's start with Mia. Because last time you talked to us, you guys were saying that she was very interesting. The audience would be very intrigued by her story, and she's a cool girl. Mm-hmm. Now I don't know. It's a little shake weight for me. I'm still trying to gather her personality and everything like that. Now, this last episode, you kicked her out of the room, and everybody was like, Robyn, why would you do that? What was going on? Was something happening behind the scenes we did not see?
Yeah, you know, it's so funny. It really wasn't that big of a deal. In the moment, I was like, okay, all of the rooms were big and beautiful. They were all amazing. And so it wasn't like I wanted a better room than her. I didn't want to be next to the kitchen. So her room, the room on the where I, you know, kicked her out to was right next to the kitchen. And because I like to sleep, I did not want to be next to the kitchen. secondly, it's like, I'm sorry, y'all. Like, the new girl is already in the big, beautiful house. Like, she got to put in some work. You know what I'm saying? So if I say, okay, I want the room upstairs, like, it shouldn't be that big of a deal because you're already lucky to be in that house. Like, you know, so it wasn't really, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, all the rooms are beautiful. The house is beautiful. It's comfortable. She already said she wakes up at 5 in the morning. You all know I don't. I didn't want to be next to the kitchen. Bam. It like wasn't a big deal. But, you know, everything is made to be dramatic and you know, a big deal on a TV show. And she had no problem with it. So it's okay.
Okay, well, she had no problem with it initially because I did see her tweet during the whole situation that she did. So at the time, she didn't have a problem, but now she does.
Well, you know, it's funny when people get on these shows, they get caught up on social media, and that's when the actual friendships break down because we were fine the whole season. I didn't have a single issue with Mia. Even like what happened early on with her kind of flip-flopping back and forth, like we worked through it. And then I think people get on social media and they get caught up with, you know, the fans being shady and the attention they get from you know, saying shady things. And so I'm just kind of like, I hope she doesn't continue to go down that road of doing things to you know, be shady towards me behind my back, because we, as far as I knew, were fine. I mean, I just think some people get caught up in social media and they love the attention from putting out shady tweets or Instagrams or whatever. So, you know, that's fine. If that's what she gets excited about, she can have it.
Okay, gotcha. Now let's move on to Zen Win. Okay, no, Win Zen. Okay, Wendy. Some people have definitely had a problem with you and Giselle talking about her lack of substance because, you know, she's gotten her body done and it seems like she's had a new attitude now. Do you think that this has something to do with, I know she was, she had just had a baby when she first came on last season, and you know, getting to know you women, there is some, I don't know if, you know, you tread lightly and now her real personality is coming out. Like what, like looking back at it, because now we're far from that episode.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. What was the question? I got distracted.
Yeah, no problem. So when you and Giselle was chatting about the lack of substance, do you still stand by that statement now?
Okay, so first of all, we didn't say lack of substance. It was, I'll be honest, it was very hard for me to articulate what I was seeing in Wendy. But I will be honest, from day one of filming, I felt something different. Her vibe was different, her energy was different, her personality was different. And I couldn't put my finger on it. It was very hard to articulate and say, you know, this is what's going on. This is, like, this is what you did, because it really was just an overall vibe and feeling. And I kind of would talk to people, you know, like, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna put anyone out there, and I would say, does Wendy feel different to you? And they would agree. Now, do they say it on camera? No. But I just felt I could not put my finger on it. I couldn't articulate what it was. And it was just certain things that just felt like she was maybe deliberately trying to change her, just her being and her persona on the show. For whatever reason, I didn't know. So the lack of substance, that kind of got taken out of context. It wasn't that it was a lack of substance. It was, she felt completely different from the I'm Professor Wendy with 4 degrees than what we were seeing at that moment. I don't really, and I don't think we said there was a lack of substance. I think it was, you know, she wasn't really, I don't know. That was probably a poor choice of words, but I could not articulate it. And watching the show now, I actually like realize what I was seeing. She feels, when I watched the show, she felt different to me. And I saw a lot of fans actually felt like her personality was different, but it was very hard to articulate.
I understand. Have you guys had a conversation after that?
On the show? Yeah. I mean, there's more, you know, there's definitely more to come regarding that.
Yeah, I know. So we don't know what's going on, but I know this next episode, Ashley is going to address Wendy and ask her about the cheating rumors when it comes to her husband and everything like that. Looking at that, I know we can't tell you, I mean, you can't tell too much about the episode, but looking at that, when Ashley went to her, do you wish she hadn't?
You know, from what I've seen on the show, because this is all those conversations that Giselle and Ashley had, I wasn't privy to.
Okay.
From what I saw on the show, it sounded like Giselle and Ashley agreed that Giselle would talk to Wendy about that. So I feel like Ashley jumped the gun. But I also think you have to realize, like, if you take the cameras away, all of the conversations that we have with one another, they're actually kind of normal conversations that you would have in your own friend circle.
Right.
Right? So think about it. You have a friend group of five girlfriends you went to college with. You heard something about one of their husbands. What do most people do? They go talk to the other friends in the group about it, right?
Yes.
That's very normal. I've participated in that, right? Whatever the subject is. And then they kind of figure out, oh, okay, well, how do we want to handle this? Do we want to talk to her? Who's going to say something? Who's going to ask? It's a very normal dynamic of a friend group. So the only reason why people get up in arms is because it's done on camera. Like, isn't that what, and the same goes for any of the conversations we have. If we talk to Wendy and say, oh, we feel like you're different, think something's different about you. What's wrong with that? That can be a normal conversation that you have in your friend group. It's just the fact that there's cameras there that people get so up in arms. Like, oh, how dare you say that? But aren't we supposed to be talking to one another? Like,
you are, but not on camera. Look, not on camera.
But that's not what we're here for. If we don't talk about real issues and our real feelings and our real observations on camera, then what are we here for? What are we on TV for? It's just like, and I'm sorry, we've as far as I've seen on this show for 6 years, everyone's relationship or any type of drama or rumors in the news is on the table. So we've talked about, they've talked about me and Juan and our financial problems and our relationship problems. They've talked about Karen and her financial issues. They've talked about Giselle. We've talked about Michael. Like, I don't understand why we're not supposed to talk about it. Like, that's
I don't know. When you put it like that, like, yeah, these conversations would be had, but it's just cameras involved. I definitely feel like, dang, that puts a different perspective on things, because I'm like, whisper it to me. I know what's going on. I'm sure she's heard the rumors and stuff. Whisper it to me so I can address it tastefully. You know what I mean? So a lot of people in the comments are saying Ashley definitely has a history of being messy in this type of way. Do you agree?
I mean, yeah, Ashley has definitely been messy, but I think a lot of people on the show have been messy. But Ashley has definitely been messy. But like I said, like, if Ashley, like, if there weren't, I don't know. Ashley definitely has been messy, and she's been okay owning her messiness.
Okay. And before I leave out on Zen Win, okay, Wendy was on Watch What Happens Live, and she stated, it's always funny when people talk about a marriage, but they have not successfully been married. What did you think about those comments?
I recently saw that clip, and it's so unfortunate that she chooses to use, our, whatever our divorces or unsuccessful relationships, to insult us with. I mean, I'm sorry, like 50% of America or people have gone through difficult relationships. And I really hope that her relationship stays perfect, because life is hard. Life is not perfect. And so to use that as some sort of insult or a dagger, it's really not, it's not becoming of her. And honestly, as far as what I saw in that scene, I didn't say anything about her relationship. I said whatever. I guess whatever I said was, I don't believe it. So I don't even understand why she would come at me like that, because I never talk down on her relationship. So, you know, it's unfortunate. I think, like I said, people play up to the fans. They want to say stuff to be shady and mean. But at the end of the day, we have to move forward and be friends. And so when you see your friends saying stuff like that, it's like, wow, like I just, you know, that's, you're showing like who you really are. So it's fine.
Yeah, even now, I know that, you know, we're still in the season of the show, and I just wonder where you guys are in your friendship. And when different things come up, I'm sure when you see different things play out on the camera, you in different episodes, you have a different feeling than when you were there right in that moment, right?
Well, I mean, it's very hard because a lot of stuff gets left out sometimes.
Okay.
And I've just kind of learned to like roll with the punches, you know? It's like, this is what I signed up for. I have no control over how the show is edited or, and I just roll with the punches. I don't feel the need to like over explain myself to pretend like I'm perfect or, oh no, I didn't really say that or I didn't really mean that. Like, it's just, it's the show, it's entertainment. I roll with the punches and I just take it like that, so.
Okay. Now I do have to ask you because you were having a transparent moment, guys. This last guys were at the table, and you told the group that you were struggling with seasonal depression, and you didn't know like this pandemic really brought out something. But then you recognize that this is a pattern of yours during this season, that season that was happening. You do tend to get depressed. And then Giselle came and stated that, well, listen, no fine man wants an unattractive woman. What did you guys have a conversation about that after that? Take offense to that comment?
Yeah, so you'll see in the next episode, we do have a deeper conversation.
Okay.
But in that moment, it's so funny. In that moment, I didn't take offense to what she was saying. I know that Giselle is very direct, and she can kind of show tough love, and I know that that was her way of showing tough love, and so I didn't take offense to it at all, but I definitely noticed people you know, criticizing her for her delivery, but I think, you know, when you are really truly friends, your friends know how you can communicate with one another, and I was fine with her questioning of that because I think she probably felt a little surprised by what I shared. And I think she's kind of like, okay, you need to snap out of it. And so, but we do have a deeper conversation later on. So I think you'll see it in the next episode. I haven't seen the episode, but I think you'll see it in the next episode.
Okay, yeah, because several comments are people are saying like Giselle really kind of slightly shades you sometimes. However, what you're saying is this is our friendship. This is like I understand where she's coming from, so you don't take as much of the offense as the audience does.
Yeah, I mean, if I have a problem with what she says, like we'll talk about it. But and like I said, she knows I'm very, like I have thick skin too. We both have very thick skin, and so our delivery in general with each other or with other people, it might be a little more different than, like, I'm not a sensitive person. She knows that. She knows that we can say the harsh truth to one another and we'll be fine. And honestly, I would, like I said, we're friends. I would rather my friends just keep it blunt with me than the sugarcoat stuff. I wasn't, it's so weird. Like I wasn't taken aback at all in that moment. And like the next day, some of the ladies were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Giselle talked to you like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, and I totally forgot. Like I have very short memory. So I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So when I saw the scene, I was like, oh, okay, that's what they're talking about. Like, no, I'm not sensitive like that. Like it's fine if she wants to give me tough love. I can receive it.
Okay. And so many people, you stated, I saw a post that you just recently posted. So many people reached out to you and they really identified that within themselves in you, the seasonal depression. Talk to me about that and how you are seeing yourself through that and how you're doing right now.
You know, I mean, it's been so amazing to get so much feedback from people, first of all, thanking me for sharing what I was going through because they felt that they were in a similar position, and you know they were beating themselves up for being in that position. And so seeing me talk about it really help them realize that they're not alone. So, you know, I tell everyone, like, we are all in the same boat. We have, you know, nobody's perfect. Don't beat yourself up. Show yourself some grace. You know, it's okay if you're making small strides to get better. But, you know, the other thing I thought was amazing, I actually had people reach out and say, like, you know, Robyn, some of the stuff you shared sounds like you may have ADHD. And it kind of, like, I literally had close to 20 people reach out and say that to me. And so I looked it up and I was like, wow, that actually, some of this stuff actually sounds like it could be something there. So I have an appointment tomorrow to talk to a specialist to find out, because honestly, as I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm losing my train of thought. And I'm like, I forgot what the question is. So it's like,
yeah,
you know, so I think that's the beauty of being on the show, where the viewers can, they care so much about us, the ones that, you know, like us, they care so much about us that they'll reach out and say, hey, have you done this? I had people say, okay, have you had your vitamin D checked? Or have you had, you know, your hormones checked? I've had so many people reach out with such good advice. And I'm so grateful for people, for the viewers and the supportive people. Like, that's the beautiful blessing of the show, or the viewers.
So have you been waking up early? Are you a little bit more motivated now? Like, how is life right now?
So I still like to sleep. Definitely,
Okay.
definitely not as late as I was before. I think a lot of times when I'm like forced to be busy, so like, for example, I recently moved, so having to pack and move and unpack, like, that gives me more of like focus on a task. Just, you know, when I have a lot going on at once. I still have a lot of growing to do. I have a lot more work to do, like, especially when it comes to my business. I want to grow it. I want to do so many great things with my business, and I have not been able to focus on that. And so I've gotten better, but I'm not quite there yet. I can honestly say that. And honestly, I think on last episode, Wendy asked me if I was operating at 100%, and I told her no. And I feel like my entire life I've never operated at 100%. And so I look forward to one day figuring out what that's like.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like the sky's the limit.
So once you find out if it's even adult ADHD, you'll kind of go from there, see what the treatments are and stuff like that, just to kind of get help.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm open to whatever it is, you know, if that's what it is. If it's not, then we got to figure out what else it is. But I just, you know, like, honestly, it's like, I feel like most people, when they're going through something, it's like, I just want to know what it is so that you can start working towards correcting it. So if it is adult ADHD, I will, whatever they tell me I need to do, I'll do it. If it's not, I'm going to continue trying to figure out what it is. But I know that there's something there that is preventing me from living my best life.
That's good. Well, thank you so much for being so open and transparent with that. I know you brought up your business and that it was thriving, especially throughout the pandemic. It's so special. You do hats, and the beautiful thing about the hats are it has a lining in it to help my hair, especially.
Yes.
To stay and not like rip off, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I started Embellished, which is a line of satin lined hats that have, you know, designs on them. And it's been really, really, really successful, to the point where I can't even keep stuff in stock. So one of the challenges for me as a small businesswoman is inventory management. You know, how do I know how much inventory to order and to keep in stock in order to meet the demand? And I haven't mastered that yet, because right now I'm all sold out. But I will be restocked in a few weeks, hopefully. But that definitely is the biggest challenge for small businesses. And I do it all myself. I'm very stubborn. I won't hire anyone. Like,
you know, it's small for a reason. Like,
I know I have trust issues. So I'm like, oh, I got to find someone who I can like trust to really help me on this. So yeah, I have a lot of growing to do still. So you'll see me even on the show, you know, talking through that and being open with that, where I am with the business. But the response was so amazing, and it's awesome because it is something that I literally came up with myself. You know, I found out how to get them made, and I created the website myself. Like, I run everything myself, and so it was really cool to see the response to something that, you know, I do myself, rather than you know, just slapping my name on something that I have no involvement with.
Right, exactly. And are you still flipping houses?
No, not at the moment. I would love to get back into it. However, with this pandemic and the cost of materials and all that stuff, I'm going to wait it out. But I do want to get back into that. It was a lot. It was a great experience, but it does become a lot. So I'll get back into it though, because I really did enjoy it.
You did. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Is there anything else that you're doing you want the people to know about?
Wow. I mean, I do have some skincare stuff that I'm working on.
Okay.
So I'll start talking about that very soon. And then, you know, let's see. For the most part, that's it. I don't want to overwhelm y'all with like how much I have going on, because I overwhelm myself.
Right, exactly. But that's okay.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you, because this is the first season Monique is not on. Do you miss her?
I mean, no, you know what? Season 5 was very toxic. And we wanted to go into season 6 with a fresh start. And so we really, it didn't even take much of an effort to just move forward from season 5. We just didn't want to carry any of that over into season 5. So when I say like, do I miss her? Like, not necessarily. I'm not trying to be shady, because I feel like Mia and Ascala were great additions, and it was just refreshing to see a different dynamic amongst the group. But I'm not trying to take anything away from Monique. We just decided we had to move forward and not dwell on the past.
I see. And then I was hearing something about you actually not returning. Was that even true, or what was that?
Yeah, no, that was never true. That was just kind of stuff that like people who hated me and love Monique were saying. I don't know. It's like there were actually a lot of weird rumors that were emerging at that time,
right.
that like none of them had any validity, and that was just one of them. So no, that was never a thing.
Okay. And then looking at Karen and Giselle's relationship, it is really like toxic. Like, I don't know what the heck is going on. I didn't see them evolving to this. What are your thoughts? Like,
you know, I mean, being kind of like firsthand there, it's like we're over it. We're so over it. It's
okay.
very weird. It's like I don't know. I think at this point they just enjoy arguing with one another. But I don't know. We as, you know, friends and castmates and people who have to sit there and listen to it, we're over it.
Yeah, I definitely am. Sorry about that. I definitely am very alarmed, because I'm like, well, did something happen behind the scenes? Are we not seeing everything?
Yeah, no, I was very, I honestly think Karen enjoys coming at Giselle, and she enjoys like the attention that she gets doing that.
Okay.
And so she's going to continue to do it. So I really think that's where a lot of like Karen's, why she's always talking about Giselle, because she gets attention for it.
Okay.
You know, as far as Giselle's concerned, I mean, if we're, you know, coming in from season 5, they, you know, just Karen was very critical of Giselle. And so Giselle had the right to really not be feeling Karen at that moment. But for Karen to bring up some like, oh, she wished death on Ray comment and like all that, like that was a reach. And it was almost like she just wanted to keep that feud going. And, you know, none of us were buying it. Like, I feel like we could all see through it. But I think Karen just enjoys the attention she gets from talking about Giselle. Okay.
Well, there it is. Now, listen, we are gearing up for the reunion. And
already? The reunion?
This
Oh,
we are gearing up because you guys normally kind of film the reunion around, before the season ends, right?
yeah, they're probably, well, we usually film it when there's like a month left, I think.
Okay.
So what episode is coming up? Like number 7? So I
Hmm.
think we probably have, I don't know, probably have like a couple months before the reunion. Oh, that's too soon. Don't start talking about the reunion. Oh my
Well,
God.
Nicki Minaj has put her hat in
Oh, yes, yes,
the
yes. Let's talk about
order
that.
reunion. Have you heard this? What were your thoughts?
So first of all, Nikki has been watching the show, I believe, since season 1. Yeah, I don't think she's new to Potomac at all. I think she's been with us since season 1. But I would love to have Nikki there asking us questions and like giving it to us from her perspective. That would be so fun. I just feel like I don't know, I guess we'll get over our, like, we'll be excited and then we'll get back to business. But I would love to see that happen. And I really feel like there was so much excitement surrounding that like Bravo is probably doing something to try to make that happen. So we'll see.
Okay, hopefully, even if she can come out and be like, okay, let me give you my 2 cents.
Exactly. I don't know, she can come out for like 5 minutes and ask a couple questions and we will be living for that. I'm looking forward to that.
Exactly. Now, listen, I do have to ask about you and your fiance.
Mm-hmm.
On. Listen, what is going on? Are you tired of people asking about what's going on between you and him?
I mean, it's so weird. It's like, what is supposed, okay, we didn't get married. We're in a pandemic. We were building a house. Like, I don't understand like what the big deal is that we have not gotten married yet. It's just, like, what's the rush? First of all, we've been together forever. We have kids. There's no rush. Like, I don't know. I have nothing to prove when it comes to my relationship with Juan. So, if people want to critique it and talk about it, like, go for it. But I have nothing to prove. If I had something to prove, then I would have forced a pandemic wedding. I would have like, oh, let me make sure I get this wedding in so people can know that we're legit. Like, I don't have to do that at all. So yeah,
Exactly.
so we'll get married when we get married. I would love a destination wedding. I don't want anything big. I don't want anything local. If it's local, everyone's going to think that they can come and they can't. So we're going to go away somewhere and get married when the time comes.
So is marriage something, because you guys actually been there, done that. You guys actually were married. Is marriage a little different for you now?
Yes, marriage is definitely, a lot different for me now. I mean, I was very young when we got married.
Okay.
We went through a lot. We're in a different place in our lives. But, like for me, it's just, yes, marriage is important, but I think what's more important is the relationship itself. People can get married and then 2 months later they're getting divorced. Like, it means nothing. So I think for us, like, we've been together, we have each other's back, we've been through thick and thin. That's all that really matters. So a marriage certificate, I'm not saying that it means nothing, because it is very important, especially for my kids to see their parents to be married, especially for, legal reasons, all that type of stuff. But we have each other's back. There's like no question about that. And so, trying to validate that by getting married to please other people, like, that's not important to me.
Okay. Beautiful. Now, people do want to know, what is the relationship like between Michael Darby and Juan? There was a lot of things going on. So what is that relationship? Is there one?
Michael and Juan are cool. They kind of bond over just being Real Housewives of Potomac husbands, and wanting to have each other's back, and maybe trying to, like, what happened, I think, early in the show, when Ashley was always coming for our relationship, Juan and Michael had a conversation, and where it was just kind of like, all right, Ashley, all right, Mike, tell your wife to cut it out. Like, what's going on, blah, 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 all that type of stuff. So they've kind of been cordial. Juan is, he's not going to like treat someone differently, or he's not going to make things awkward. He just tries to make it like smooth. So, I think Michael really likes Juan as a person, and because they're in the same, you know, they have this common bond of the Real Housewives of Potomac. They're going to support one another. But it's really nothing deeper than that. It's just kind of, I mean, it's funny. It's funny to see. Like, Michael does seem to be very invested in Juan.
Definitely very invested. And so, but they haven't had that conversation at all. It's just like, nah, for you. Keeping it.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Well, thank you so very much for jumping in with the JASMINEBRAND.com and just taking the time, catch us up on your life and everything like that. Many blessings to all your business ventures, and definitely, I definitely appreciate your transparency, especially when it comes to seasonal depression and mental health and different things like that, and addressing those and being so real on the show.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You have been awesome. Corey, say hi.
Hey, what's up?
My boys, my handsome boys.
Happening here.
Are hiding.
This is a live, okay?
Right, I know. It's like it's a pandemic work from home type situation, but it's all good.
Exactly. Well, thank you so very much. Many blessings to you and your family, and we'll see you on television.
Thank you. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Thanks, everybody. Yes, her boys are definitely handsome. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and jumping in with the Jasmine Brand. Until next interview, I'm your host, Ellie Andrews. You can catch up with me at Ellie Explains, and don't forget to head to the JASMINEBRAND.com for all your entertainment needs and so much more.